Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, Digi. We are on the ground at Charlie Yankee, Quebec, Bravo. We are just outside of Quebec City in the province of Quebec in Canada. We're going to be doing a one-way up to Philly tonight, and I'm going to try to see if I can do this on VATSIM, and I am definitely not going to have a problem with it because, let's see. Quebec Center, Boston Center, New York Center, DC Center, everybody's offline. I also have East USA on if you want to join me for a multiplayer op, but we are going to file this in VATSIM, or excuse me, finish filing this on VATSIM, and then we will have this set to go. So give me a moment to finish crunching my numbers, and we will get underway. Flight time for tonight's flight is estimated to be about an hour and a half from Quebec City to Philly. And let me just finish filing the plan. We've got flightsim.to scenery for CYQB. We've got MK Studios for KPHL. We've got the FS2024 A321 long range. And we are doing the thing. Twitch.tv/CityDriver. My friend Crafton, it's a privilege having you aboard. It is so nice to see you. Welcome. We are getting set up for a flight out of Quebec City. As you recall, or as you might have recalled, the last time, or one of the last times that Connect was streaming, I happened to fly in as he flew out of St. John's towards Quebec City, and we are in the default A321. Not really a default, this is an indie build, but this is the one that gets bundled with even the standard version of FS2024, which I'm grateful for because it's actually a nice airplane. We are parked up. I think this is gate 5, gate 10. I forget. I don't even know. So let's just hurry up and get started. I mean, I've got the deal for the evening, but I certainly don't want to be flying until like 4 a.m. What do we have here? We have a recovering study level pilot slash scenery developer that is going to fly out of Quebec City nonetheless, and we're going to fly ourselves to ye olde Philadelphia. Welcome, my friend. If you guys feel like tagging along, or if you want to follow me, I should be on Simaware. Once I finish filing, I'm going to be American 197. Just hit the file button, and now we should be able to get going once I hit connect and pick my airplane of choice. Oh, you bought the 777. Oh, check you out. Well, congratulations on your acquisition. I hope you enjoy it. And the flight plan, beep, beep, beep. Call sign mismatch, failed flight plan, different call sign. Okay, so let's fix that, shall we? What is my call sign? Operator is not Air Canada. It has to be American. Thank you, computer, for calling that out. So we're going to refile as American because that's what we're flying. And we should be able to do that now. So if I refile, and if I disconnect and reconnect, then the system should be fine. Oh, sweet. Thanks for the company, my friend. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think I've turned on my... So you can file and edit it. I think it should be fine now because it didn't beep, beep, beep at me. So we should be fine. We should be A-okay. Let's go ahead and finish getting ourselves set. We are ready to go, or getting set to go. We have nav and logo lights position 1. We have the electronic signs on, or will eventually. We have them armed, so to speak. Let me make sure we have our OFP and our payload collaborating. Takeoff is going to be slightly different, probably, but we'll see what we see. And let me just double check. The briefing for tonight's flight said cell temp was 57, and we're going to have V1 143, 146, 148 for V2. These numbers are lower, so I'm going to leave them alone, but I'm probably going to override them in the system once I send it downstairs. So let's go ahead and finish getting ourselves set, and GPS primary weights cleared. Okay, so we've sent this stuff over. Let's go ahead and finish getting ourselves set. And can we get some movement here, please? Thank you. All right. So init request, we have the sim brief flight plan filed. Let's go ahead and start boarding right now. It doesn't take too long, I don't think.
Boarding requested.
Boarding requested. And let's go over to the page. This automatically gets filled in for me. 46.6 to 25.5. What are we taking for block fuel? We're going to take 6.4 for block. 6.4 for block, and is that what we have? Actually, we have way more than that, but let me go over to the side and start figuring out what the numbers have to be. So, ground payload fuel. Fuel is...
Do you want to board crew? Crew boarding starting.
Fuel is 6.4. Okay, 6.4, so we actually have fuel. And we're going to apply the load instantly because I'm super lazy. And now I think we should be fine. Medium haul flight, very nice, very nice. Hope you enjoy the medium haul, my friend. It's a privilege having you folks with me tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, 3000 is the balanced QNH for today, or for tonight, excuse me. And we have our fuel in. So let's go to flight plan, and we have our flight plan filed as well. I believe we should be fine. Let me check my Navigraph charts. And Pen 2 is going to be the first waypoint. We're flying the Quebec 6, I believe. Yeah, Quebec 6. I just finished updating my AIRLINE before I started. Quebec 6, and when we get to Philadelphia, we're going to be arriving on to
this way, please.
27 right. And I think it's the Spuds 7 arrival. So, in case you guys are wondering, I'm going to go ahead and drop this in chat if you want to follow along with what I'm doing. So that would be that. So Spud 7 is here. Spud 7.
Good night.
Transition is going to be what? Delta November Yankee. So there's a plan.
Hello.
Right, and after Ferris, we're going to be going to vector ourselves to the ILS 27. So I'm going to leave the discontinuity in there for now and mess with it once we get to our destination. So the flight plan is in. Let's work on performance.
Good night.
I'm actually going to use the numbers that I got from the flight plan and override the performance numbers that we have.
Hello.
There's too much of a discrepancy for me to be concerned or not be concerned about that. So 143.
Good night.
We're going to use 146, 148 for V rotate and V2.
Hello.
Hello. Transition, and we're going to be using flaps 1.
Hello.
Flaps 1 and cell 1057. So I don't know what it's going to tell me, but that's fine. Cell 10's going to be 57. We should be able to get out of here. Okay, now, quick for funsies, we're going
Welcome
to
on
find out what
board.
the CTAF is for CYQB. That's going to be 118650. 118,
Welcome on board.
wait, 118650.
Welcome on board.
There we go.
Hello?
Hello? There we go.
Boarding
So
pass,
now
please.
I'm on standby frequency, or excuse me, not standby frequency, CTAF frequency. Let's go ahead and make sure we have our button set for
Hello?
squawking in, push to talk. Ow. And now we're going to use the button on the throttle. Okay, so we have the button working,
May I see your boarding
and
pass?
the volume on this is like maxed out. So let's see. Where is my volume from my microphone? I don't know. So hopefully I'm not blaring. Updated radio and panel lifty. Yes, this is the default too. Okay, so I think we finished boarding passengers. We're just gonna have to finish loading cargo. But now we also have most of the performance done. 83% loading for. Oh wow, boarding's completed. That's pretty good. I think we should be fine. Neutral trim, flaps one. Let's go ahead and double check our stuff. Zero fuel weight, ZFG disagree, FMGC values confirm. What am I missing? Okay, there we go. That's what had to be updated. So let's take a look at performance again. I'm going to go with the higher numbers since that basically tripped. And we have almost everything ready to go. Let's go ahead and turn on our fuel pumps. We should be getting out of here very shortly, my friends. So fuel pumps are on, crew supplies on, we have IRS done, and I'm going to go ahead and go to nav position 2. Beacon on since we're going to be getting out of here very shortly, and seatbelts to on, no smoking signs to on, and keep those on for the rest of the flight, I think, unless it's the electronic sign. And let's see, that should be everything. Let's go ahead and get these things nice and chill in the cabin, excuse me, the flight deck. And flight director's landing scales and constraints we'll leave on both sides. If I can. It's okay, whatever. Can I can push it now, great. Do a quick sweep. Fuel is 6.4 as expected. External power is what we're using right now. And while I'm going through this list, let's go ahead and turn on APU bleed. And then finish going through the list real fast. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Set the cabin temperatures. You know my motto, class. A cold passenger is a compliant passenger. So let's go ahead and set that up. Finish getting ourselves configured. Bleeds will take care of themselves. Engines and APUs are not firing up yet. Air conditioning is going to be nice and cold. Doors are going to finish closing, and we're going to be getting out of here very shortly. Flight controls off, and we should be normal to the line, and we are. And now we're going to go ahead and fire up the APU. Give it 1, 2, 3 seconds, and there we go. So we should be able to get out of here momentarily, and let's go ahead and announce our intentions. Now, we're going to be departing on runway 06. So since we're departing on 06, that means we're going to be pushing off tail facing north. So pushing off tail to the left. So here we go. Quebec City traffic, American 197 is type Airbus A321. Passenger terminal pushing off tail facing north. Quebec City traffic. Okay, now before I do that, I need to make sure my radios are finished being set up. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Take a look down here and set my TCAS. So TCAS 2257, and we're going to Set TCAS. How do I set TCAS real fast? It's going to be TARA. There we go. TCAS above. And there it is. There's my stuff. So let's take a quick peek outside because I hear somebody. Oh, that's just me. That's just the APU. Unless there's somebody else here. Unless they already departed. um, it's a thing. It's all right. It's all right. We're going to be leaving here shortly anyway. So let's finish getting ourselves pushed off, and let's prepare for pushback and departure. Okay, so...
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Close the doors, turn off the cabin lights.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Quebec City traffic, Vimy 32 starting 8 and 3.
Oh, I forgot to turn on my live traffic and ATC indicators. And, okay, there we go. I see you, my friend.
Locking gear.
And for the departure, what are we using? We're climbing to 4,000 for initial climb. To left.
Release parking brakes, please.
And parking brake released. Now.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, here we go. Running, and that should be it. Ignition to crank. And here we go. Starting engine 2. And we'll leave flaps set to position 1. They'll come on shortly. Good night, sleep tight, Quebec. And I hear the engine spinning up, so we're going to go ahead and rotate number 1 right now, because I'm impatient. Number 1. Flaps are coming into position. I'm going to go ahead and open up the probe heats. And wing lights while we're on the ground. Why not?
Please set parking brakes.
Parking brakes are now on.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Engine 2 is available. Engine 1 is spooling. The 777 is incredible.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Okay, weather predictive wind shear on. All weather, both sides.
Quebec City traffic, Vimy 32 taxiing apron 1 to hold short behind the American 320.
And let's go ahead and check our flight controls real fast. Full left. Full right.
Unlocking gear.
Full forward. Full back. Full left rudder. full right rudder. And full spoilers. And full spoiler retract.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Ground spoilers are armed.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
And we have auto brake max. Oh, hold on. There we go, that's better. There we go. I just saw the gear pin come into place. Alright. No, you can stop not letting me move the screen about. There we go. Fine. So, nose light to taxi. Drop the gear into place, but don't turn it on just yet. Strobe to auto, and that should be enough for me. Okay, here we go. Quebec City traffic, American 107 taxiing, runway 06, we have Bravo 2 Bravo Delta, crossing 29er Golf. Working brake release. Let's give it the beans.
Quebec City traffic, give me 32 following the American 220.
Appreciate the company, my friend. Okay, here we go. Did I not ding the cabin? Try it again. There we go. And takeoff config is set. Thing is, for me, I mean, like, I bought the 737 for FS2020. I should probably buy it for FS2024 when I get my next bit of like disposable spend, especially if it's as inexpensive as the first release was, because the 736 is a huge value for the money, and I use it in FS2020 with FS2 crew. But even if I fly it by myself, it's both systems dense as well as relatively easy to pick up. So I'm happy with what we have. Let's see. Is there something that I forgot to do? Is there a reason why the heading is set the way it is? I should be able to make that go away. So is it because my flight plan is missing something, or is it because I forgot to set my, no, TCAS is TARA, but my squawk code change? It's alright. We do what we do, chat. So I got about 4 minutes
Try
to get
turning
my...
the left and right flight directors off, then back on, then setting it to manage mode.
Okay. Roger. Okay. That's
Put
weird.
both of them off, then both of them back on.
That's weird. Alright, hang on. Hit. Want to make sure I don't taxi on the grass. Ha! Alright. So... just turn both of them off, turn both of them back on. And... that's a little strange. Okay, so one more time. Let me double check something.
Everything's filled out on the FMGC in A and B.
Let me see. We have. Well, I can't see the weights. I can't see the weights anymore, but the the weight, zero fuel weight config, and fuel while pumped in, and the flight plan, the performance is there. Oh wait, hold on. There is, I think, maybe one thing that I forgot to do. So hang on. We'll do 1 down 0.0. Okay, so now there's absolutely nothing left in there that I've missed, and the flight plan has departure data. And let's go ahead and turn on the flight directors now. So that's fine. I mean, I'm not afraid of like putting this thing up in the air with like either open climb or stuff like that, but I think I'm just going to go ahead, for the sake of simplicity, just pick final cruise and then do open climb once we take off. And if I have to mess around with heading bug on departure, then we'll do that. But I'll set 060 for now. Zero 061, excuse me. That's magnetic deviation. It's a little bizarre, but we're fine. Quebec City traffic, American 107 is departing runway 06 on the Quebec 6 departure. Okay.
Quebec City traffic, Vimy 32 departing with the American flight of 2.
Okay, good stuff. I didn't have my parking brake set. And for some reason, it might have something to do with my my mappings, I want to say. Nicely done, my friend. Okay, I'll take the left side, you take the right, and here we go, spooling up to about 50% just to test. I'll keep my foot on the brake. Stable at 48.3. Let's tag in, and here we go. I wonder why I can't taxi. This is a little weird. Oh, there we go. I had to point my nose. There we go. Yep. Keep on rolling, my friend. Manflex SRS. Give it a little squeeze. There we go. 80 knots. That's a beautiful thing. Here we go, V1 and rotate. And positive rate. Gears coming up. Quebec City traffic, American 107, 1200 on the Quebec 6 departure. Let's go. Okay, so autopilot on. And now manage mode turned on, which is weird. Just time set. Okay, we can turn the APUs off. Wow, this bird is aggressive. It's a little weird overflying the airport at like just 4,000. Hey, my friend, welcome aboard. Good to see you, Studio Canuck. I hope your new setup is working out nicely for you. Flaps to 0. Take care, Craft, and much love to you and your family. God bless you. Love your soul, buddy. Take care. We are rapidly approaching target speed for our climb, and
Taxi traffic to the mean 32, flight of 2, overhead the field at 4,000, climbing westbound.
I'm going to go ahead and go open climb at this point. Rest this weekend and do nothing? That sounds awesome. Okay, and give it another, like a 5-minute delay. I just turned, excuse me, wow. Turned on chrono overhead Quebec City, and that's it. Now let me take a look. What's traffic look like at this point? We're a 2-ship with basically nobody else in the area. I think it's safe to switch over to advisory. So I'm going to go ahead and do just that. Okay, so welcome aboard, everybody. Glad to have you with us as we fly out of Quebec City, headed to Philadelphia today in the Indy-built A321-200LR, basically the Neo variant. And we are rapidly leaving the province of Quebec, heading on over to Philly for some pretend cheesesteaks at the Reading Terminal Market, probably tomorrow morning. Wishing everybody a good evening or a good afternoon if you're overseas. So a lot of people probably took part in the Down Under FNO, which was like Australian flying tonight. I chilled. I had some dinner and I had some ice cream, and I opted in for an extremely late evening tonight. I'm going to turn on my medium auto brake for Philly, just so I don't forget it. And also, do I have my ground spoilers armed? I'll leave them armed for the arrival. And we do have our weather and predictive wind shear turned on. Weather is all WX. Turbulence as well. We should be good. I think we should be good. So, why does it say TCAS standby? We do not have TCAS on standby. But hang on. I am going to turn off my mode to normal, and then I'm going to turn TCAS to TA? No. TCAS standby? No, it shouldn't be. It's TARA. Let me swap it back to what it was before. Am I missing something? That's a little bit strange. It will not let me toggle on mode Charlie. So, okay, standby. Normal. Above should work. So why are you giving me problems? I wonder. I mean, you know, it's an academic point tonight because basically there's nobody on, like, at all. But at the same time, it is what it is. So it's kind of a surprise that I'm having as much difficulty as I am with the TCAS. We do have traffic around, so I'm going to have to pay attention, but we don't have any ATC online. And to be honest, I kind of hope it stays that way because I just feel like being chilled. Boat again, you're 7 o'clock. Let's take a look. That's so dope. I'm glad I caught that. Okay, landing lights off, wing lights off, just dropping beacon, and that's it. Seatbelts to auto. In a normal situation, my TCAS would just be blaring. But yeah, I'm kind of concerned. Oh wait, hold on. No. I don't understand why this is actually giving me so much trouble. I mean, the funny question is it being triggered by the proximity of Nathan to my position, or was there something that I forgot to do when I was on ground? Let me get a little bit of lighting in here and see what's up. Probe window heats are on. I don't think we're going to have a problem with weather. So, what am I missing? Parking brake is off, mode is normal, engines are running, weather is on, yeah, doors locked, so that's a little strange. It's a teensy bit strange, but I'm not going to freak out about it. Yeah, we should be fine. I should not be seeing a TCAS standby message, so can I clear that? No, I can't. So, okay, let me think. Why would I have a TCAS standby message? I wonder why. TCAS standby alt reporting switch is set to off, or the altitude mode selector is not properly engaged. Ensure alt reporting switch is set to on to transmit parametric altitude data, and set the mode selector to auto or on. Okay, so let's see. We're getting to 18,000, so it's not going to matter soon, but let's see. What about this am I missing? It just says standby and it just says TCAS above TARA, but it's also grayed out. Set the mode in the lower right of the TCAS panel and set the knob in the upper left of the panel from off to either on or auto. That's weather. let's tell ATC. That's what I missed. Duh. There we go. Now we're fine. So that was at the TARA, but I forgot to go here because we have VHF here and we have ATC here. That's what I forgot. It's been a while since I've flown this plane. So, auto above TARA transponder 1, and the squawk keeps changing. I have no clue why. Do we have any auto mode in here? No. No, we don't. That's a little strange. But there might be an option that just keeps auto switching that. Do I necessarily care? I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that if there's any kind of assist that the system keeps doing in my stead. Let's see. We are now standard, and we are back to climbing managed. So, okay. TCAS is still on standby. Ensure altitude reporting switch is set to on. Okay. There we go. And there it is. It's gone. Wonderful. Okay. So, give or take 5 minutes, we have been airborne for about 13 to 14 minutes, and it does look like we might get a little taste of weather as we continue our climb. Also, with that said, why am I climbing so slowly? We need to be at like 360, and we're not climbing that much. Let's go open climb and see what the aircraft does. I'm a bit concerned unless the flight plan has restrictions. No, why would there be? There should be no restrictions at this point. Well, like I said, let's get cracking. So I'm going to use the old rules from FSX days. Basically, once I get past standard altitude, I will go no more than 1,800 feet per minute on the climb, and probably be like 1,400 feet per minute right now, so I don't bleed off too much speed as I climb up to 360. So let me be prodigious, but also wise. And I think 1,200 feet per minute might do me, at least until I get to like the mid 2 zeros for levels. Is what it is. It is most likely something which I'm failing to do correctly, so I'll take it with a grain of salt. A huge one. And simple enough. So, let's see, Barrow standard, there we go. So we'll go to 1,000 feet per minute. I definitely don't want to go below 300 knots for the climb. Thousand feet per minute, and yeah, I mean, I know it's been a little bit since I've flown the A321, but does it climb that slowly? I see him turning and burning. Wow. That's got to be a roller coaster ride for the passengers. That's so dope. Well, anyways, folks, thanks for coming along. Really appreciate the company tonight. It's going to be a once and done into Philly this evening. We will hopefully reach flight level 360 as we climb out of Quebec and approaching Boston Center, and not that long from now. And eventually we're going to get to the point where we begin our descent. But since we've gone into like flight level 224, I'm going to go back to managed and see what that does for my climb. And see how fast we can finish our climb at this point. As long as we don't climb slower than like 600 feet per minute, I think I'll be fine. We will deal. So, what has been going on in Digiland? Well, I'll catch you guys up. Today was a fast day at work, and had a chance to sit down and hang out with Mrs. Digi for a little bit. She was working on some stuff for some upcoming craft shows she's going to be doing. And I hung out for a little bit, fed the cats, played with the cats, and then decided to set up in the sim room, in the bedroom, because basically we had some thunderstorms coming, and my one cat doesn't like thunderstorms, so she looked for a place to hide. She was set up, and I was just like goofing around. And I don't know about you guys, but if you do anything involving technical stuff, or if you are, ooh, that was a nice flyby. If you are, involved in IT in any way, you might come to the end of your workday sometimes feeling crispier than usual. That's been my mode for a little bit, and I'm just working on ways to rectify that. One of the things, of course, is to do stuff like drinking plenty of fluids, which I, believe it or not, don't tend to do as well as I used to. And also, I try to de-stress once I'm done working. I stay busy and whatnot, and then at the end of the night, I'll either be doing scenery dev or flying or just goofing off. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. But I'm trying to drink more water. I'm trying to keep my brain hydrated. I'm trying not to be so stressed out because, like you guys, anybody that's been following me on Discord knows, I took advantage. I took a trip to the doctor. Caught up with my doctor at the beginning of the year, and I had my numbers done. And basically, the numbers came back, and they weren't friendly. So basically, I had concrete proof that I was doing stuff that wasn't, let's just say, compatible with a long-term outlook. So, like I wrote in Discord, in my Discord, I'm making a conscious decision to put my diet in hack and to try to start taking better care of myself. I did say try. I don't usually succeed at this stuff, but I am trying to do better, because if I don't, then I'm only going to have myself to blame, and I'm going to feel even worse. Now, am I absolutely feeling horrible right now? Praise the Lord? No. But I have to make a conscious decision to get my rear in gear. And I am choosing that. I'm choosing that because I don't want to choose to keep stressing myself out over stuff that genuinely is pretty much worthless to consider. In terms of long-term stuff, the bottom line is basically, hey, I need to chill way out, because if I don't chill out, I'm gonna pay the price for it.
Automated weather observation 0500 Zulu.
Oh, we got automated weather observation.
Sky condition. Few clouds at 2600 feet clouds.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of Unicom right now because, actually, should I? Yes, yes, I should. Because there's nobody flying in my general vicinity right now. There are a lot of people that are apparently. Oh, no, wait. Some people are flying. One person is flying in my direction at 8,300 feet and descending. Another one is at flight level 270 and climbing, but they are roughly like 20 some odd nautical miles from my position, so they're not a factor. I'm just keeping my eyes open for anybody else on my flight path, but I don't want to keep hearing automated weather observation blaring, so I'm not going to worry about it. But, like I was saying before, my health is not the best right now. My health ain't the best in the business. I've been busted. I've lost my qualifications for fit flight simmer, and and I'm putting myself in hack for the second time this year. Um, so this character needs to shoot to be top gun of like my health like I used to be. So basically the deal is I need to get serious. Like I said before, I'm not 1000% worried or concerned about stuff like diet. Like we're going to work on that. Also, again, I don't want to overthink or stress out about um, health concerns or work concerns. I want to do my best, and at the end of the day, be able to say, hey, I'm doing my best. Let's go ahead and chill. Let's relax. Um, that's where I want to leave it. Also, I want to continue to do stuff like enjoy flight simming, enjoy scenery development. I know that the added difficulty sometimes of the scenery dev push that I've been in sometimes makes even that as a hobby seem difficult to pursue or to realize. Fortunately enough for me, I'm not, you know, super duper duper crazy overburdened with trying to do that stuff. I want to do that stuff, period. Like, that's just the bottom line. That's it. So, am I going to worry about it? No. Thank you, Canuck. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. I mean, like, you know, I remember your journey and how you realized, better fitness, and I'm sure that's benefited for you, and I believe it'll benefit for me too. I believe it'll benefit for Mrs. Digi as well. So, I want to be on board with doing things like, changing diet, eating boring food, preparing food ahead of time, and really focusing on feeling better. Because whatever 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 concern or philosophy you have with regards to stuff like, you know, oh, like the job market sucks. Well, yes, things in life sometimes happen that aren't ideal.
Lebanon Airport Information Uniform 0500 Zulu.
I think I can switch back to advisory now.
Niner. Sky Lebanon Airport Information Uniform.
Oh, wait, I forgot.
0500 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility Niner. Sky condition. Few clouds at 5100. Feeling 14,300 overcast. Temperature 22. Lebanon Airport Information Uniform.
Did I forget to do something?
0 Zulu. Wind
Hang
calm.
on, stand by.
Visibility Niner. Sky condition. Few clouds at 51.
There we go. For some reason, it didn't let me switch out. And that one also doesn't work either. So, let's see. Heh, now I'm on 123.45. Hopefully there won't be any other traffic out here. You are at... Oh, you're... Where are you going? You're going to Kilo Bravo Tango Victor. Okay. So, you are... Wait. Is that where he's going? You're probably going here. Oh, no, you're going to Burlington. Got it. So, you are way, way below me, so that's fine. That's fine. You are most likely not going to shoot up like crazy to get to where I am. So, good enough for me. Definitely good enough for me. Um, yeah, regarding stuff like work. I want to do my best at work, but I also want to leave work at work. Now, it's usually not the way for people in my profession because there's stuff like this felt pressure to continue to improve, continue to learn things. We're usually encouraged to be at the forefront of our craft. Um, I mean, even pilots occasionally learn new things, but basically, unlike pilots, as a software engineer, what I have to do is basically be ready to learn, you know, brand new frameworks, brand new ways of doing things. So it's kind of like flying a plane for 6 months and then learning a new one, and then flying that plane for 5 months and learning a new one, flying another plane for 7 months and learning a new one. So there's this kind of like in and out and in and out of learning new things, adjusting for incorporating artificial intelligence into my workflow and learning a whole bunch of stuff. And when you run hard for a couple of years, it starts to get on you, and you start to kind of feel the pressure to either perform or continue to perform at a high output. And what happens is you get to this place where you are you're putting out more and more effort. It's kind of like the frog in a pot problem. As you keep continuing to acclimate to higher and higher levels of output, you don't realize that you're putting your body through either stress or that you are affecting yourself and people around you in ways that you weren't expecting. And what happens is you get to a spot where you might not notice it, and then 5, 6 years later you are working yourself on something and you begin to realize, no wait, I don't feel good. Like, I don't feel good at all. And then, it becomes a question of you go into the emergency room and the doctors say stuff like, oh, okay, like you don't have a heart attack, but you have an incredibly acute case of like stress. Or you don't have a heart attack, but basically you're like 2 clicks away from like having a stroke. And that's not something I want. And if the logical question that some of you have right now is like, well, Digi, have you considered a different career? Then I'm here to tell you I have multiple times. I've considered completely walking away from software development. Now, some people will be like, Digi, that sounds stupid. Why would you do something like that? Well, because the industry as a whole is not the same industry that I remember that it was. When I started this over a decade ago, I wanted to grow, I wanted to be, a cool programmer, I wanted to write software. And then over the next decade, what happened was I went from place to place, project to project, company to company, and the pace kept picking up and the technology kept moving faster. And I kept up with it for a while, but then I hit some bumps in the road. Let me read what you wrote, Canuck. Yeah, yeah. And I think over the course of my time at various companies, when when I hit the point where I wanted to leave, in most instances what happened was I was able to go. So I found a new place, I started over. I would say I averaged probably around 2 to 3 years per company, which I think if you average it out, that's on par with what at least what used to be considered a not a typical, but a nominal tenure with any organization that you want to go work for. But, you know, given the differences in the job market today, then you try doing something like that, and you're kind of cooked. You're semi cooked because you're competing with other people looking for work. You're competing with graduates. You're competing with people that have been reintroduced to the job market because of extenuating circumstances at work, or if you want to call it a layoff or a reorg, go ahead. And so that means you've got about maybe 3 to 4 times as many people applying for the same role as you. And no matter what, that produces uh, a larger pool of options for companies that are hiring people. So thinking about stuff like that, it makes me think about, hey, where are we going with this? What are the options that we're going to choose? How's this going to work? I've tried looking for work over the past couple of years, and in general, companies don't seem to be interested in candidates like myself. Now, I used to think it was because I didn't know my craft well enough, even though, like I said, I've been writing software for over 10 years. Now, let's be real here. Over 10 years experience doesn't necessarily mean what you think it does. If you repeat the same year for 10 years, you have 1 year of experience repeated 10 times. But giving myself some credit, I've worked across industries, across job titles, providing returns for companies, building platforms, and creating systems that help them do their job. So, I have the experience. But sometimes I wonder if it's because companies want a particular kind of employee to get stuff done, and I am different. The specific skill sets that I have go a bit further than just writing software. I like working with people. So, whether that means I'm not exactly the kind that will fulfill a very targeted need, that might mean that I'm not the precise person that needs to be with them to solve the problem they're trying to solve. And again, I'm not mad at companies that I've interviewed for that have told me no. Sure, you get disappointed when you go to apply for work with a company and you go through an interview process and they say, hey, thanks for all your time. We've chosen to go with somebody else. Wishing you all the best. I mean, that's what happens to people repeatedly over and over again in these past several years. So I don't want to be mad at anybody. But when you do that enough, it starts to mess with you and you start to wonder whether or not you have what it takes. Now, I know I have what it takes. the past couple of years in particular, I've demonstrated that. So I know. The Lord has allowed me to understand that. I'm grateful. But it does make me wonder what's next. Because, like, I like to stream. I like to do scenery development. I like to share my time with others. I like to help people achieve great things. I like to be a team player when I can be. But it does make me wonder if I'm like the old guard for what my career used to be about. And if I'm the old guard for that, and I have to think, there's a non-zero chance that my shelf life might be coming up for my career and I might need to make a pivot. Like, how do I do that? Because me caring for my family and spending myself for others, unfortunately, has left my assets in a less than agreeable place. Hey, AUS Gorilla 245, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome aboard. The username sounds kind of familiar. I'm getting a feeling I've seen some recent names in the past, but definitely appreciate the follow. Welcome aboard. My name is Digi Driver. I am a flight sim streamer, airport scenery developer, and recovering study level pilot. It's been probably about a year or more since I last flew the Flight Factor 757 in X-Plane 12, a plane that likes to meme me at the drop of a dime. And you don't stream the plane, you basically fly, and you basically feel like you are flying a literal piece of equipment. But thank you for coming in. Appreciate having you aboard. Welcome. We are just chatting about life right now, tech stuff, and trying to figure out what my next steps are. I tend to stream somewhat infrequently. I usually try to shoot for like once a week or more, and during the week, I'm usually doing quiet streams where I work on like airports for Microsoft Flight Sim and Flight Sim 2024. I've been trying to, let's just say, settle my schedule after my work kind of like ticked up in terms of frequency and urgency. My IRL job, I'm a software developer, and I'm trying to figure out what good next steps are. But AUS Gorilla, welcome aboard. Happy to have you. Appreciate the first time chat, and hopefully that you are having a very good day. Now, I hope I'm not being too presumptuous. Your username does make me think that you are hailing from the beautiful, beautiful land of Australia. I have friends that are down there. I think one lives in Queensland, another in Western Australia, in Perth. Like one of my friends lives in Sydney, either Sydney, and another friend that I've followed for a long time on Twitch. I think he is um, either in Brisbane or Melbourne. You would be correct. Wonderful. um, it's an amazing place. I would like to visit at one point. You're in Perth. That's fantastic. There's there's a photographer that I've been kind of like digital friends with on social media for a long time that I think lives out in Perth. That if I ever bucket list down to Australia, I think I'd like to go visit at one point because it would be an adventure, and I would want to see all my friends that are down there and just spend time and hear them out and listen to them and just catch up with people. So it's definitely a living, a virtual living, but flight sim is kind of like home to me. It's been something that I've done over the past multiple, multiple, multiple years. I am older than young, younger than old. I don't tend to give away certain details, but at the same time, I will say most regulars here would probably be able to peg um, what generation I belong to and what my age range would probably be by paying attention to a few basic points that I usually give away fairly copiously. Um, for instance, Saturday morning cartoons. I grew up in a time where it was still all the rage to wake up early as a kid. Because if you woke up early as a kid, you got to watch Saturday morning cartoons. And there were these blocks of time, at least in the States, usually between like 8 to 12, where you got up, you were in your PJs, you went downstairs to the kitchen, you raided the cabinet, you got the sugary cereal, you got the milk from the fridge, and you poured a big bowl of cereal, a big bowl of milk. You took it to the big like tube TV in the living room. You turned the TV on. You you pointed it at like a network TV channel, or like if you had cable, you went to like, the cable channel. But I was like, I was a city kid, so I didn't have cable. So basically, it was like network TV, and the good network TV channels, they had their cartoons lined up, like CBS, or I don't know if Fox did. It was like CBS and like ABC and other area channels as well. So it was nothing for me as a kid to like watch my cartoons regularly. And then like around like 11 o'clock, 11:30, around 11 o'clock was when like Looney Tunes came on. Watched it for a while, and then like 12:30 happened, and it was like, okay, time to go do something else. And I would like read comics, or like go visit my friend, or we would probably go check out um, a store because my parents wanted to take me shopping to buy me clothes or buy me something. And um, yeah, like that was the morning. But like I've been getting such nostalgia lately, and I've missed stuff like that in the past. Um, I talk to people at work, and one of the things that I kind of draw back to is stuff like, hey, I miss how we as people used to be um, more prone to be connected. And no, before you worry, or before you start thinking, this is not another kind of like, oh, like he's about to bag on AI. No, 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 no. I don't care. I don't care. That's decidedly something I'm not going to talk about. I'm just saying, when I grew up with my parents and my siblings under one roof, and we got on each other's nerves, and we fought with each other, and we carried on like it's like a typical American family. And then I finished college. I married what you would basically call your like my high school sweetheart, and then I moved. And the silly and the sad thing is, you know, you you you're young, and you want to grow up, so you want to be able to do all the stuff that you want to do, and you just want to like have fun, go do stuff like that. But when you become a self-sufficient adult, and you have a job, and you have responsibilities and stuff like that, and you realize that if you want to change something in your life, it actually takes a lot of energy and opportunity to do so. Something clicked, and you start to realize, oh wait, this is serious now. I have to really put in the effort. That's where I've been for the past X number of years. Um, Also, I uh, love my family, and I care for my wife, who has had mobility concerns and would be what you would technically consider disabled, even though she is able to get around on her own. It's extremely painful for her to do so. She's dealt with chronic pain issues and mobility concerns for the past at least 5 years or more. So I take care of her as best I can, with all the energy that I can sometimes. And, we have pets that we love and that love us. I'm grateful for the opportunity to spend time together with family. Although, hey, I'll say I'm human. Sometimes I like to do chill stuff like flying a sim. The beauty, of course, of my particular situation is that my wife, who I affectionately call Mrs. Digi, she's actually been the catalyst for me getting more involved in flight simulation. She's even bankrolled version 1.0 and version 2.0 of the current sim rig, version 1.0, version 2.0 of desktop PCs for me to be able to fly flight sims on stream. So she believes in my hobby. She likes me taking time to power down and do stuff. And in return, I want her to succeed in her entrepreneurial endeavors, and for her to become successful and do what she's trying to set out to do, which is basically, start her own business and sell her crafts. Now, um, as much as I want life to improve for her so she can get back on her feet, I know sometimes that kind of stuff takes a while to do. So it's not easy. It's, dealing with chronic pain is very, 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 very difficult. And I'm just a caregiver. Like, I'm not even, um, I'm not even the, the dude that is, the one experiencing all that pain. So suffice it to say, like, if I feel like, man, like, if I feel bad that she's experiencing that pain, and I wish that she didn't have to experience all of it, I don't know what the daily experience is of waking up with that pain and dealing with it. It's a rough spot to be in, and the both of us, we just try our best to deal with the situation at hand. But I pray that my Heavenly Father, through Jesus Christ, gives us both strength to deal with that on a daily basis. And part of the way that we deal is by doing things that allow us to take our minds off the situation. I said before that, sometimes I have difficulty dealing with the stress from work. Had a funny, had a nice chance to kick back today and play some retro games, like, Nintendo and Nintendo 64. And I like that. I like being able to play certain kinds of games that basically don't require a lot of very heavy thinking. Now, I'm not saying I don't like playing role-playing games. I'm just saying the particular mode that I've been in lately says, hey, I'm going to play these games because I'm able to enjoy them and not worry so much about how much time I'm putting into them. Like, I'm literally picking up and putting down games that are like beatable in like 30 minutes to an hour. So you play old games like that, you play games that allow your brain to rest, and at least in my personal experience, it gives me a chance to smile, to laugh, to activate parts of my brain that help me deal or flush out the stress in my life. Um, I pray, I read the Bible, I try to put myself in a place where God can work on my life. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying I worship a risen, perfect Savior whose name is Jesus Christ. And I tell my friends, and I tell people to trust in Jesus, to be saved from an eternity apart from God in a place called hell, to trust Jesus as Savior and to accept Him as Lord, and to spend eternity with Him in heaven. And I want people to know who Jesus is, but I never want to shove what I believe down anyone's throat. I want people to make decisions for themselves, and I want them to choose Christ, not be forced to choose Christ. And if you want more information about that, you can go to the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association online and learn more about what it means to have peace with God. And even if you're not sure, but you want to know more, and you want to know who this God is, He's listening. He wants you. He wants you to get to know Him. And you could probably even say something as far-fetched as, God, I've never prayed to you before. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're about. But this weird dude named Digi Driver keeps talking about you, keeps talking about some dude named Jesus. And I'm curious. My life sucks. I want better. I don't know what to do. I'm reaching out to you. And and like, I'm trusting that you're there, so like help me understand more about you. That's the kind of prayer that I sincerely believe will lead to you finding out more. And you can also find out more by reading the Bible. With that said, even if that's not your bag, even if that's not what you want to do, but you're looking for someplace to rest your feet for a little bit, and someplace where you are valued, thank you for coming here. Please feel free to rest, and know that you are loved, most likely more than you could possibly comprehend. And I appreciate you guys being here with me tonight or watching on the replay. We are not exactly approaching flight level 360, and it almost makes me wonder why we haven't. It could be because of the fact that we're dealing with a 38 knot headwind, but that usually doesn't stop me from reaching top of climb. So either the winds are very blustery or bumpy, or the AnyBuild's A321 LR is having difficulty reaching top of climb. It's possible. It is possible. But we're okay. Actually, let me take a few seconds to make sure I understand what the mode is going to be for our arrival into Philly, because we are actually already on the Spuds 7 arrival. And if I take a look, there's going to be a point at which we need to be set up, which is our initial required altitude of 10,000, which is coming up in roughly, let's see, 20, 35, I'm going to say roughly 50 some odd nautical miles, and I'm currently approaching 360. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to my flight plan page. We're going to go ahead and check and remove the discontinuity between Ferris and Martin. So we're going to get rid of the manual. We're going to get rid of the flight plan discontinuity. And let's see. First off, there we go. Between Ferris and Martin, and then Jalto. So Ferris and Martin. Let's take a look at the approach. Okay, so we're actually going to be we're going to be skipping past Enzio and going straight to Martin. Martin is just before Jalto, which is at 2,100 feet, and that's going to be where the ILS beam really kicks in. The course setting is going to be 268, and we're going to be descending on basically about a 6.5 mile beam, 6.5 nautical mile beam to runway 27 right at Philadelphia. When we get to Philadelphia, 27 right is going to go whizzing past the passenger terminal. Hopefully what will happen is, if we slow down in time, we'll be able to make our exit at high-speed taxiway Kilo 4. We could potentially still take Tango or Kilo 5, but hopefully be done by Tango and go to either taxi point 5 or 6 to go to Alpha East and park up. Now, we don't have a huge aircraft. This is an A321. It is long, but it's not like considered heavy, like a 777 or a 787 or an A340 or an A350, or even an A330. So we should be able to use East Alpha concourse or terminal and not have to use the International Alpha. I've flown out of Philadelphia many times in the past in real life, and I don't typically fly out of Alpha, especially not international Alpha, because my travels don't take me out of the country usually. But if we exit by Tango, that means we'll have used roughly 6,500 of the roughly 9,500 feet, probably more like 7,000, and then basically we'll be able to taxi back to Alpha East and call it a night. But I do also want to make sure I set my arrival information. The minimum barometric minimums for Philly are 211 feet. So we're coming up on the top of drop, or at least I'm assuming we'll be coming up on top of drop very soon. Let me make sure I set my initial approach. Stead 360. And why doesn't it? Well, that might be the reason why I never reached that climb, but that's okay. We'll set it up for 2,100. That's going to be where the ILS beam comes into play. And I am assuming we should probably begin to check our performance. So, let's see. What's Philly QNH through SimBrief's charts page tell me? Winds are 240. 240 at 3. Temperature is 25. The QNH is 3005. Barometric minimums are 211 feet. If we go flap config 3, V approach is going to be 141. So let's look up. Flap mode off, landing flap 3 on. And we should probably begin our descent now, I think, or at least begin shortly. And just make sure everything is set in the flight plan page. So I'll take a look real quick. Now, EFOB is not ideal, but we'll do what we can. And SLAT in 30 needs to be at flight level 231. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this by hand. And let's see, we're roughly 400, so probably around 2,200 feet per minute for our descent rate. And we're going to do this manually. So, wait. Let me just go ahead and do managed and cut in if we actually have to cut this off, because it's going to go below like 3,000 feet per minute or descend faster than 3,000 feet per minute. We are chasing the ball, and it does look like we're going to be going below 3,000. So we'll keep it at 3,000 feet per minute, and we'll eventually catch up to the, what I like to call, tennis ball profile for descent. And if I lock in on my position, there's quite literally absolutely no one in my immediate vicinity. And the closest that I have to somebody in my way is somebody flying a A220 into Philly, whom I might come across. So let me just start double checking my info. We're going to override the radios again and hopefully actually not get an advisory frequency, or excuse me, automated weather. Hopefully we won't get that. So we'll switch. Oh wow. Yeah, this is definitely there's something a little bit borked. Okay. So we'll use the
automated weather observation.
yeah. Something about that is still messed up. We do have a plane coming in from Newark to Philly. So we'll see what happens. But I think once I get below, standard pressure, I might switch to CTAF frequency for Philly, just out of an abundance of caution. Just so we basically do the thing. 3,000 feet per minute right now. And hopefully we'll be able to catch back up to profile. Now, it would probably behoove me to maybe override airspeed and set indicated to 280 on descent. And that means I could probably start descending a little bit, but are there any restrictions on the arrival? Okay, at Spuds I need to be 250, and Spuds is coming up. So I'm going to get the boards out and we're going to start our descent. Give me a little bit of light, please. So, alright, we got half spoilers. We're slowing down. And let me get the floodlights on instead of the overheads. There we go, 280. Okay. Spoilers are armed again. Spoilers are armed, but I want to get to 250 by Spuds, so that means I need to slow down even more than I thought. So, we'll try this again. Half spoilers, let's keep going down. Spuds is probably in like 15 nautical miles, so we'll see. Clear for Chaos, welcome aboard, my friend. Very happy to have you. We are on our way into Philly. We took off from Quebec City in Canada about an hour and like 5 minutes ago. We are on our way in to the cheesesteak capital of the of the Mid-Atlantic. But welcome aboard, my friend. Very happy to have you, folks. Clear for Chaos is a new friend to the channel and also somebody that's a correct me if I'm wrong, real world 727 pilot. Also enjoys flying the 727 in the sim and does things that fly other planes as well. So feel free to give my friend Clear for Chaos a follow if you have not done so before. And of course, check out my friends Nathan's Planes and Studio Canuck if you haven't already done so either. Okay, so we are below pressure, and I'm going to go ahead and check my performance as well for approach. Approach is 3005. Alright, let's go ahead and remove the speed brake. Flight engineer. Oh, there we go, there we go. Good stuff. Okay, now we do have inbound, and let me see. So this pilot is cruising. They are at roughly 16,000 feet. I don't know where they're coming in. It seems like they want to come in on the Spud's arrival as well. So let me see. KSAN to KSNA. That might be an old flight plan because you are in the east, my friend. But you're also above me at this point, so I'm not concerned. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn my landing lights on before I forget them, which I tend to do. And let me also get the APU on, but not fired up. Seatbelt signs all the way on. And are we going to encounter any massive issues with weather? I don't think so. I don't think so. So we should be fine. All right, let me lock in. And now that I'm inbound to the airport, I should be able to switch over to the CTAF frequency for Philly. CTAF is 118.5. And my apologies for breaking immersion and not tuning the radios in the plane, but there is a kind of radio frequency switching problem right now that I can't figure out. Philly traffic, American 107 is type Airbus A321. We are inbound on the Spud 7 arrival for the ILS 27 right, direct to Anmar to go to Ferris and turn final for 27 right ILS. Philly traffic. Okay, and let me just make sure that we actually are transmitting. We are, so we're fine. Okay, we've been 250 for a little bit, so I'm not worried about having met that at Spuds. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to manage the speed. Now from Anmar, let's see. Theoretically, we could be at 2500 by Haifa and Erie. Wow, that engine. Hello and good evening. Welcome, Raiders. Fuzzy Pickles coming through with 10 viewers. My friend, welcome. God bless you. A privilege having you aboard. We are doing our night flight. We took off from Quebec City in the province of Quebec in Canada, and we are coming into Philadelphia, Kilo Papa Hotel Lima. We are inbound, runway 27 right, and we are in the descent phase. We came in from roughly 36,000 feet, well, almost 36,000 feet, but I ran into issues because I forgot to let the plane finish the climb. But all things considered, we've got an open alleyway, so to speak, and we're coming in. And there's somebody else that is probably going to be coming in on the same kind of arrival that we're following to land in Philly. So we're going to see what happens. They're flying the A220, and they're not going that fast. But then again, we're going way less fast than they are, so they'll probably catch up. The airport's over there, but we're basically going to be hooking a left very shortly. We're probably going to be flying overhead. And that is downtown Philly right there. So there's definitely a little bit of weirdness in the setup for the lineup to final, because the computer keeps kind of bouncing back and forth between descent profile options. Playtime Philly cheesesteak sounds good. Oh, you know it. You know it. I think there is a Tony Luke's in the airport, but for the authentic experience, there's probably a couple of places you can go in Philly, including eating a Philly cheesesteak in the Reading Terminal Market at Penn Station or at the convention center. So there are many places to go to get cheesesteaks, and of course you can certainly get an even more authentic experience probably probably anywhere in downtown. So you'll definitely get the experience. Okay, should be turning the final pretty soon. I'm going to switch over to the ILS once we get in range. Here we go. That's downtown. There's the airport. Okay, so my concerns about not being able to descend in time were largely unfounded. Let's make sure that the speed brake, well, the ground supporters are armed. Philly traffic, American 197 is on the approach for ILS 27 right. We're making our base and final turns shortly. ILS 27 right, Philly traffic. And we're approaching the desired altitude, and we are now in approach mode. So let's start configuring ourselves. Let's go flaps 1. We are like flirting with the red line. Okay. And we're flaps 1, turning base and final 27 right. Once we turn to final, I will activate the approach mode, which should hopefully allow us to lock in. We're slightly under the glide slope, and the localizer is active. And once we're within, I think, 45 degrees of the ILS beam, I'm going to go ahead and activate approach mode, which should be right about in 5 seconds. Okay, approach mode is armed. Alt glide slope, nav loc is on. Let's go ahead and activate the gear, even though we're flaps 1. This should finish the deceleration.
2,500.
let's go to about 180 for now as we start to slow down. Okay, gear down 3 greens. Okay, gears down, so let's go ahead and set nose light to taxi. There is the airport. That is the GA runway, and there's 27 right and 27 left. Flaps 2. And we'll get it to about 148 for now. And flaps 3. So flaps are fully configured. Auto brake is medium, and the ground spoilers are armed. If we have to go around, we're going to climb to 1500 and then right turn to 3000 to the Modena VOR, which is Mike X-Ray Echo. And approach is 140. Keep it just 145 to add an extra 5 knots cushion, because I like having my airspeed stay above the alpha floor. Philly traffic, American 107, fully established, ILS runway 27 right, last call. Right, here we go. Winds are theoretically down the nose at about 14 knots, so I'm not sure why we are so borked. I'm also not sure why we're not descending, but we'll fix that. Alright, let's put the nose down and let the plane finish descent. That's rather strange that it did not follow the localizer down, but I'm also glad that the winds are not crazy and that we can actually, even in theory, do a visual approach right now. But we're doing what we need to do. Auto throttle is armed, so we should be able to stick at 145 until we cut the throttles. Within 1 point for the ILS and localizer, so we'll set 3000 for the go-around altitude. Go-around is set. Engines are fine, so we're getting some pretty stiff crosswinds. But we'll do what we can. A little bit of crab. Not a bit of crab, wow. A little bit more to the left, did you? Come on.
400. 300.
Good glide.
200. Minimum
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard 10. Retard 5. Retard.
Oof.
Retard. Retard.
There we go. Gentle, gentle, and down. Okay, so, no reverse thrust, but auto brake medium is working just fine, working like a treat. And medium brake release. And stopping on the runway is not a good idea. But we made it. All right. Let's see. Let's clean up. And where are we? Check airport info real fast. We're actually pulling off at what, November? Wow, that's early. Yeah. Philly traffic, American 107 departing runway 27 right at November, taxiing to Alpha Terminal through non-monitored Philly traffic. Oh, I know what the problem was. For some reason, the same button that I pushed for the comms is also the same button that I push for brakes. I mean, not that I want that to happen, but basically that's what's going on right now. So, strobe can come off, lights are off, beacon can stay on, and we're going to go ahead and start the APU and pop the bleeds on. Okay, so you're looking at Bravo concourse. We're going to go to Alpha, which is just down the way. It's going to be the next big right turn. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Philly International Airport, courtesy MK Studios, or MK Studio. I think it's MK Studios. And we're going to go ahead and get cleaned up. Flaps have been retracted. Speed brake is now retracted as well. And I'll turn the brake fans on because it could be a really caliente deceleration that we had. I don't think so because I don't see brake fan hot here. It doesn't say it. Also, the winds may have switched, or our prior contact that I saw in the A220 is going to be landing on the 9s. So they can do what they want to do. We are out of their way. And I am going to choose a terminal of my my choosing, which is going to be off to the left. I would say right here should be fine. This is basically an Airbus version of a 757, so we should be fine. We will pick 11 Alpha. Alpha 11 Alpha. Which is this side. And there we go. Let's finish getting ourselves taxied in and stop. And I will pop the parking brake on, see what my parking job looks like. Not bad. I'll keep going. Let's go ahead and set up shop here. The APU is currently running, and I can go ahead and tap out both engines. So engines 1 and 2, and I can turn off the predictive wind shear, and we should be fine. Let's go ahead and set up TCAS to standby, and that does it. And I request ground services. I should be able to. Let's go ahead and request deboarding.
The boarding requested.
We'll pick American Airlines. And here comes the jetway. Here it is. All right, superb. Let's get some lighting up in here while we turn up cabin lighting. There we go. All right, so total flight time just a little over an hour and 19 minutes. Probably, I'm sorry, an hour and 25 minutes, or a little under an hour and 25 minutes, and about an hour and 38 minutes on the block. Probably hour 37, hour 36, but we are good. Let's go ahead and turn flight directors and constraints off. I sure hope I didn't have the flight director off on the ILS approach, but I guess I can rewatch that to find out for a fact. We are
Goodbye.
done,
Passengers deboarding started.
and let's do standby and zeros, and that's it. So, we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and relinquish control of the throttle quadrant and joystick. I'm gonna go ahead and catch my breath. And there we go. Let's take a peek outside and see if we can actually get external battery provided. We will vent the fuel supply, and I will request a ground power unit.
Good night.
Okay, so external power is connected, so it means we turn off the
Bye-bye.
APU bleed and shut off the APU and starve it of fuel. So we are deboarding,
Flying with
and
us.
I can turn the beacon light off and turn the nose light off, of course. And that's
Bye-bye.
it. All right, we are unpacking at Philly International. Was a very fast and agreeable flight for me this evening, issues notwithstanding, so I'm happy. We're good. We had some really blustery winds on final, but we were able to kind of like pull it off right at the end. Theoretically, it was almost like a go-around situation. Maybe I should have gone around, but at the same time, we were, I feel, within relative tolerances, so more or less where I want to be. And we have some folks that are coming out and probably going through the standard jetway to the airport itself. So let's have a little bit of fun. Let's take a look at the interior in case anybody has not been to Philadelphia in the sim or otherwise. I can show you the MK Studios interpretation of the same after I take another screenshot. And let's go ahead and reset and then start going down. So there's no interior for this jetway, doesn't matter, it's all good. Here is the interior for Alpha. Alpha and interiors like, I guess, Bravo look pretty similar. I've spent a lot of time flying out of Bravo, so the interior is probably pretty similar. Actually, this interior is better. We should have taxied here. But this looks very familiar to me, very much what I've seen in the past. And basically, Bravo you go up Bravo, and then basically you board. There's shops where you can buy stuff, places you can get food, and jetways, of course, to board aircraft to your destination. I have not spent time in the international terminal much, but for funsies, let's go ahead and put this more to an early morning or daytime mode so you guys can see what this place looks like when it's more well lit. 7 a.m. should be fun. So this is Alpha West. I don't know if they have much of an interior here. Oh, they do. It's kind of sparse, which is kind of like the area where we are. I'm sorry, this is Alpha East. Alpha International. Alpha actually isn't modeled, but in one sense, I'm kind of happy that they don't model everything, because it means the airport's going to be a bit more performant, which is great, because you want your frame rates to be good. I can probably take you all the way over to the Echo and Foxtrot terminals, but I wouldn't necessarily want to bork up the deboarding process. And where's the other plane that came in? Oh, there we are. Let's take a look. Yeah, welcome down whoever you are. Let's go see. This is that's an A3220 or an A319. No, wait. I'm wrong. This is an A220. Duh. Yeah, looks like they made it. Fantastic. Not bad. Yeah, and again, like I said before, so sometimes what happens is when you disconnect, the terminal doesn't want to reload, so the jetway wants to stay retracted. It is what it is. That's fine. Well, actually, now that that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and show you the other side of the terminal anyway. And I think, okay, that one's modeled, but I think this is the newest one. Actually, it's not. I think it's this one that's modeled. Yeah, okay. So let me slow down. And there we are. I have never been in the Echo terminal, but it looks nice. Actually, I flew from Albany to Philly in the sim not that long ago, and I touched down and I taxied to this side of Philly Airport just to see what it looked like. This is, I think, a recent construction that they completed either 2 or 3 years ago, and essentially kind of like, dressed up that side of the airport. Looks like our friend in the A220 wants to come over. They might come over to where we are. I don't know. I've been here many times, IRL. Philly runways kind of like are like a compressed version of the typical east-west runway situation you see in LAX and San Diego, where it's like you're usually not going to be taking off in any other direction except east-west if you do not have a a runway that supports it. Like, this size aircraft is not going to go on the north-south runway that actually exists further up from where we are. There's like, I think it's like runway 17 and 35, which is like one of the GA or short runways that exist at this airport. But again, the overwhelming 99 percentile of traffic that you see at Philly is going to be using the 27s or the 9s. And I think most of the time, barring any issues with weather, you're usually going to be taking off to the west. I'm not saying always, I'm just saying often. Now, in places like LA and San Diego, that's a different scenario. I mean, I'm not an absolute pro at this, but the weather patterns over there largely favor westbound arrivals and departures, and it's usually not an eastbound thing unless there's usually a major weather event. Look at that, they're coming in. That's dope. And with that, they have arrived, which is neat because I typically don't do a lot of evening flights on VATSIM at all, and it's a privilege to be able to see that people fly like that at night. So I'm going to grab a screenshot of our distinguished special guest, whoever they may be,
Goodbye.
and they are
Goodbye.
Delta 12 Whiskey Hotel. That's fantastic.
Good night.
Okay, so
Goodbye.
ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and do it. It's basically 3 in the morning. It's probably time for me to turn off the computer and go to bed, or at least get comfortable and let my brain slowing down do the rest.
Goodbye.
I am unsure
Goodbye.
what I'm going to be doing for tomorrow. I might
Thank you
fly
for
out of
following.
Philly further south to Atlanta, or I might do something totally
Goodbye.
different. I might go trucking. I might play retro games. I might do something else.
Goodbye.
We will see. Until then, I hope you guys have a very good
Goodbye.
night and rest up. I hope your Saturday
Thank you for
and
flying
or
with us.
Sunday tomorrow is an
Goodbye.
amazing one. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you really do want the Prince of Peace, and that is Jesus Christ. Folks, have a great rest of your evening and enjoy. I am calling it from here at the East Alpha Terminal, the East Alpha Terminal at Philadelphia. And I just happened to grab one more screenshot of the other plane before they spawned off. Wishing you a very good night.
Do you want to
Take it
deboard
easy.
crew? Crew to Passengers bus is coming.
And until next time, we'll see you. Take care, folks. Actually, one more thing. I feel like checking out the city from here. since we're done flying, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect from VATSIM, turn off my moving map, and it should give me a little bit more juice to go check out the place. Looks like pretty hazy or rainy conditions. So I don't know how much of the city we're going to see, but basically this is what we would have seen had we flown in the morning or during the day right now.
Your crew has deboarded.
Okay, so deboarding's complete. That's good. And here is a hazy or otherwise humid and possibly rainy downtown Philadelphia. I wonder if one of these buildings has Ben Franklin on top of it. I think it's you, or supposed to be you. Well, here we go. This is downtown Philly. And here is Penn Station / Reading Terminal Market, somewhere in here. But yeah, Vine Street Expressway. This is Interstate 676. Welcome to Philly, everybody. And thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Really appreciate you, appreciate your support and your patronage. Hope you have a very great night. I am debating another stream tomorrow. If not, I will probably go back to my dev streams if possible this coming week. Have a great night, my friends. Take it easy, take care. God bless you, and sincerely, rest well and have a great night. Until next time, my friends. See ya. Bye.